Making your house into a home takes inspiration, perspiration, and information. Hi, I'm Danny Lippert. Each week on Today's Homeowner, we cover the tips, techniques, and practical solutions you need to make your house the best-looking house on the block. Along with my co-host, Alan Lyle and Amy Hughes, we tackle your home improvement questions while having a little fun along the way. So make sure you join us every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 on News Talk 1000 WKDE.
I'm Melody Thompson with First National Bank. Imagine having a free checking account that earns you money even on $1. That sounds like ka-ching! Our ka-ching checking account earns 3.80 annual percentage yield on a balance of $0 to $50,000. Ka-ching! For other ka-ching benefits and requirements, go to ka-chingchecking.com or visit any branch. We have over 100 years of dependable custom banking. For you and your money, that's important. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Good morning. I'm Megan Lucas, Economic Development Director for Alta Vista, Virginia, and host of It's Your Business, the area's new and only talk show on topics such as economic development, urban growth, business expansion, and real estate development. You know, if you work in the Alta Vista, Central Virginia economy, or if you care at all about the local communities, you'll love the fascinating topics and guests on It's Your Business. Tune in every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. right here on News Talk 1000 WKDE. As the community grows, it's becoming more and more cosmopolitan. The transformation from good community to great community makes for a lot of exciting talk. It's Your Business will explore exciting topics related to Alta Vista and the Metro's future development. First National Bank, Alta Vista and Lynchburg's premier commercial bank, is the proud sponsor of It's Your Business, and we are pleased to have them on board and, more importantly, in our communities. Thanks so much, First National Bank, custom banking since 1908. Our special guest today is going to be Rex Hammond from the Lynchburg Chamber of Commerce. But before I go through Rex's lengthy bio and introduction, I'm going to give you guys a few updates. Going on this morning, right after this show. Actually, it's going on right now, however, but I know you want to listen to the full show before you head out to English Park. The annual catfish tournament's going on today and tomorrow at English Park. It's and the annual tournament's held by Hurt Volunteer Fire Department. The weigh-in is 9 p.m. today and 9 p.m. today to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Go on down to the park. Go on down to English Park, and for information, you can give Matt Taylor a call at 434-944-2484 or Justin Fitzgerald 434-426-2737. So right now, the annual catfish tournament's going on, and that supports the Hurt Volunteer Fire Department down at English Park. What a great park we have down there. I want to say thanks to the Alta Vista Rotary Club. They put on a really great Riverfest last week with some fun boats. I hope everybody got to go down there and see that. You know, also going on this morning is a benefit for Claire Elliott Parker. She's just a beautiful, precious 10-month-old who recently has begun chemotherapy for leukemia. It's a casual, fun run walk to support Claire and her family. The event is not timed. There are no prizes or no shirts. It's a love offering, a love offering will be taken. Suggested donation of $10 a person, and they'll give cards for all participants to sign. Please, if you're listening now and you want to run out and do that, just head over to Alta Vista High School. That's a benefit for precious little Claire Elliott Parker. The Alta Vista Chamber of Commerce, they're hosting their annual expo on the 15th from 1 to 7 at the Alta Vista Area YMCA. There's no charge to attend, and that expo is open to anybody and everybody. You don't have to be a business owner to go to an expo. Expos are great for a consumer to go to. First of all, you get to engage and meet one-on-one with some of the businesses you've never met before or somebody you do business with on a regular basis. But come all to the Alta Vista Area YMCA for the Alta Vista Chamber's Business Expo from 1 to 7. The Chamber is also hosting their annual golf tournament on August 23rd at the Alta Vista Country Club. You need to get your team together and sign up now. Don't worry if you don't have a team. You can just come on down and singles will be put together with a team. I've got a team. Rex is over here listening. I've got a team playing, and we're called the Superstars. And the one and only Christine Kennedy is actually going to pick up a golf club with me on that one as well. So I would say that the superstar team will be the comic relief for the Alta Vista Chambers Golf Tournament. That tournament's Friday, August 23rd. For more information, you just call the Alta Vista Chamber at 434-369-6665. And the Lynchburg Chamber's got lots of events coming up, too. Join with the regional chamber in celebrating the opening of the XLR8 STEM Academy, offering high school juniors and seniors academic and technical training. It's related to careers in engineering, technology, and health services. The Lynchburg Regional Governor's STEM Academy ribbon cutting will be 10 a.m. at CVCC Arriva Technology Center on August 12th. And did I read, Rex, is the governor going to be at that?
Yes, he will be.
Perfect. Also, the Lynchburg Chamber on August 14th, it's backed by popular demand, is their Business at Breakfast, which really is a fantastic event. Breakfast, networking, and discussions on most prevalent small business issues, and there's so many small business issues today. They'll have some small business leaders on hand to share perspectives and best practices. Bring your business cards, your questions, and your best ideas for things that work for you and your business. And also on August 14th that is August 14th from 7:30 to 9 a.m. The cost includes breakfast and is $17 for Lynchburg Chamber members and $27 for general admission. To RSVP, which is required, which is RSVP means, give the Lynchburg Chamber a call at 434-845-5966. You can also reach them at info@lynchburgchamber.org. Also on August 12th, the Lane Memorial United Methodist Church here in Alta Vista is having a blood drive from 12 to 5. And on August 24th, the Elm Assembly of God Church is hosting a spaghetti dinner. And for more information on that, just give the Elm Assembly of God Church a call. And if you have any questions about anything you've heard here today, just give me a call at 434-369-5001. And so now's the time of the show when I get to introduce you to our wonderful guest. It's my pleasure to introduce everybody out there to Rex Hammond. Rex is the president and CEO of the Lynchburg Area Regional Chamber of Commerce. And Rex has his CCE. He's a certified chamber exec. He has his IOM, which stands for I owe money. Actually stands for Institute of Organization Management, which is a designation through the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and he has the MBA, which is perfect for somebody running a Chamber of Commerce. And you can't see it, but I have this long and extensive bio on Rex, and I'm not going to read any of it because he's here, and he's just going to tell us all about himself. Rex, welcome to Alta Vista, and welcome to It's Your Business.
Thanks for having me, Meg.
So how's everything going at the Lynchburg Chamber?
You would think that during the summer that things would slow down a little bit as people take vacations and are gearing up for school. But it's been a very active summer, and there's lots taking place this week and next week. Governor McDonald's going to be in Roanoke tomorrow to talk about Amtrak and the extension of the Amtrak service from Lynchburg to Roanoke. And then the governor will be back, as you pointed out, for the STEM event on Monday. But also he's going to have a meeting on US 460-29, which involves our entire region.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I want to say I commend you. You've been instrumental in the Amtrak extension to Roanoke. As I've seen in articles and been reading. Am I correct? I mean, I say instrumental, but you may, I don't know how you'll say it, but I think you've been there, you've been at the table, and my impression is you've been instrumental and may even pivotal. But that's a great thing, the extension of the Amtrak.
Well, I appreciate that. When I came here in 1999, Governor William Wampler, a state senator from Bristol, had the General Assembly conduct a feasibility study on passenger rail service in Virginia. That passenger rail service showed that there was a corridor owned by freight companies that could be used and converted to passenger rail service. And by no lobbying whatsoever on our part, this wishbone-shaped transportation network had Lynchburg as the hub, with Lynchburg service going west to Bristol, north to Washington, and east to Richmond. So we created a committee, the Committee to Advance the Trans-Dominion Express, in 2000, and with Senator Wampler's leadership, we were able to procure $9.3 million for the work that took place over the intervening years, and We've worked with governor after governor and DOT secretary after DOT secretary. And certainly through the Kane years and the McDonnell years, we hit pay dirt. The Lynchburg train, thanks to the patronage of the people of this region, has been a tremendous success. Amtrak refers to us as the poster child in terms of ridership and community involvement, in terms of getting our people using the Amtrak train to Washington. Many people know that the Washington train, they switch engines because it goes from diesel to electric when you go north of Washington, D.C.
I didn't know that.
And it goes all the way up to Boston.
I just took it to Boston.
Lovely.
I love the Amtrak. My first trip, my first business trip from Alta Vista to D.C., I took the train up. Talk about the easiest. No traffic. No, I didn't have to worry about traffic. I didn't have to worry about getting lost. And moving from Nebraska, you take every person that lives in Nebraska, put them in their car, and it's still less traffic than in D.C. So I have no desire to drive my car in D.C. My husband has done it, and it puts me on the end. But the train, taking the Amtrak, I've gone up there for several meetings, and then we just went to Boston on the train, and I just love it. So yeah, it's really a great asset to this region.
We hear story after story of people with positive experiences, and like your organization, Megan, we don't have an extensive marketing budget. We depend on the goodwill of our media members to get the word out. And the word of mouth on the Amtrak service to Washington has been absolutely incredible, because you're right. You go to Washington, D.C., when you go to Union Station, you're hooked into the metro, you're hooked into the bus and cab system. You're in the epicenter of the city. It's just a great way to go there.
I know there are people who do this, and I considered it when I first moved here, but I considered a job in D.C., and for maybe a day or two thought about, could I really daily get up and ride the train 4 hours one way and 8 hours back for a job in D.C.? Obviously, the decision was no. I'm not gonna. I'm done. I'm done doing that sort of thing.
We're delighted you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. But I know there are people who do. And of course, if you live in Charlottesville and up the line, I suppose it's much easier.
It's not just that we have the new Amtrak service to Washington. In addition to the Crescent service, which goes all the way from New York to New Orleans, we have 2 trains from Lynchburg each morning and 2 trains coming back each evening. So you don't have to stay with the Lynchburg train to Washington and the Lynchburg train back. You can take the Lynchburg train to Washington and the Crescent back. So it gives you greater flexibility in how to structure your day. And theoretically, you could take the first train out in the morning and the last train back at night, and you could get in a half a day's worth of work, be home that night.
Yep.
And doing an overnight in Washington, if you drove, it doesn't change that consideration, because it takes you the same amount of time, but it's much more enjoyable, and you'll recover from road rage much more quickly.
We won't even have it. Well, I just want to say I think it's great that the Amtrak's going to be extended to Roanoke, and I think that'll makes a big impact on the community. And I want to say thanks for what you did working on that. That's a big deal. So the Lynchburg Chamber. How long have you been with the Chamber? Have you been there since '99?
It's been 15 years. Time flies when you're having fun.
And you're in the middle of a campaign. I drive by your building every day where it says a future site of the Lynchburg Chamber of Commerce. So how's that going?
It's an incredible challenge to raise money in an environment where 50% of the public believes that we're in a recession. This is a time where businesses are being very careful with their money. And at the same time, I'm humbled and gratified by the generosity that they've shown to our organization. The chamber has served us well for 40 years in this location, but it's threadbare. It no longer gives an appropriate first impression of our community and region, and we should have a building that reflects the vitality and creativity of this region. Furthermore, from 40 years ago, when the chamber built its location across from EC Glass and just down the road from Centra, and today with the bypass system, it just makes a lot more sense from an accessibility standpoint to be out at the junction of 29 and 460, and that's where the chamber's new location is. Liberty gave us generous terms in terms of the purchase of that building. It puts us within a mile of 85% of the hotel rooms, within many of the restaurants of the community, and because it's right on the bypass system at the junction of 29, 460, 501, it's as accessible as any place can be in our region.
You have a target date for when you guys want to be in there?
Well, I have a personal philosophy on that. I believe that our members would like us to raise the entire amount before we make this commitment. I think it's important that the hard-earned investment that our members make in our chamber go towards programming. And it would be easy for someone like me to come in, build a building, finance it with debt, but I don't think that's the most responsible thing to do. And particularly in this environment where people want to be very conservative and careful with their money, I think it's prudent for us to be patient, raise the entire amount, and then make plans for a groundbreaking.
I think that's smart, and that's one of the reasons why you've been so successful at the Lynchburg Chamber. It's understanding your fiduciary responsibility and the needs of your members. So I think that's a wise decision. You mentioned something I want to get into a little bit, but which is programs. So before I do, I'm going to ask you those questions that chamber execs always love. So, do my tax dollars support the Lynchburg Chamber of Commerce?
Yes and no, and we're a little bit different in that capacity. But anticipating what you hear, and as a lot of people in the audience know, Megan is a former chamber director and an outstanding one, according to my friends in the Midwest. And Megan knows that I was formerly a neighbor in the state of South Dakota.
South Dakota.
The chambers in America, there's 7,000 chambers of commerce for every community with a post office or a fire department or a school.
Yep.
And they're very important, and that's why they're common. It's a household word in every city in America for dispensing information. But a lot of people labor under the misconception that we're part of the federal government, part of the state government, part of the local government. Chambers are a fully autonomous entity that exist by virtue of the generosity of businesses and organizations in the community who give their not only their time and their money, but their collective energies and creativity, not only to help their own business, but to help the economic development climate of the entire region. So, that generosity is the horsepower of our organization. And why I qualified my answer up front is the Chamber's also managing the tourism contract for the city of Lynchburg. That's a substantial part of our budget. It's over $1 million. And we have one of the very best tourism staffs in Virginia. And while I sound like a proud parent when I say that, Becky Nix and her group have earned over 25 state and national awards in recent years because of their expertise and excellence in promoting the economic development, specifically the tourism resources of this entire region.
I agree with you with Becky Nix and the tourism team. When I moved here, I went to the tourism bureau down there on Main Street in downtown Lynchburg, and it was great. Great information. They sent stuff. They were easy for me to call. I personally don't think it matters where they're located, but I liked that they were friendly and they get the information out. And I also like when I travel, I see Lynchburg marketed, and I think that's a critical point. So, chambers do have, you're not, the Lynchburg Chamber and chambers throughout the country do have contractual relationships with municipalities, which are critical because chambers are, of course, I believe, a critical element in community success. Critical.
No question about that, Megan. And, we are not given the authority to do virtually anything.
Yeah.
But by virtue of the generosity and ideas, the talents of our collective memberships, the business community is one of the leading proponents for positive change in any community.
Yep.
And I think the same thing applies to Lynchburg as applies to Alta Vista. And that's, if you go back in the history of your community, almost all of the seismic or relevant changes that took place, the chamber was sitting at the table or was the ramrod for that initiative.
Absolutely. Business, investments, business leaders, our thought leaders in our communities can often sometimes get things done that on the municipality side take too long to do. But chambers are critical, and you're running a fabulous chamber. Let's talk about first of all, can anybody be a member of the Lynchburg Chamber of Commerce, or they have to be only in Lynchburg?
Because we operate as a regional chamber, and when I say that, it's not to take anything away from the very good chambers that exist in our neighboring communities, such as Alta Vista. But we cover the entire Lynchburg metropolitan statistical area, which includes Amherst, Appomattox, Bedford, and Campbell counties. And because we have sufficient collective resources to work within the public policy realm, what's good for this region is good for Lynchburg and vice versa.
Right.
So we spend extensive time working with all of the legislators, not only in our greater region, but even into Roanoke and Danville and Farmville and Charlottesville because of our transportation initiatives.
Which is fantastic. Let's talk about the programs. What sorts of programs and initiatives do you have going on right now at the Chamber?
You can take our chamber and divide it into two different aspects. And our program of work is driven by our mission statement. And our mission statement says that our chamber serves to stimulate regional prosperity and serve member businesses. So if you take a look at the personality of our organization, we help our members in every way we know how to do. And then secondly, we try to impact regional prosperity, which includes every man, woman, and child in our four-county and Lynchburg area. We do that. Let me take the first side, and that's serving our member businesses, which is a traditional role for every Chamber of Commerce. Networking is one of the greatest opportunities that we can offer to our members. When we have gatherings, our members conduct business. They get new ideas. They meet employees. They meet vendors. We're a place of connection where business forces come together and they find each other, learn about each other, and create alliances that help their businesses to succeed.
Not only do they meet the individuals you just pointed to, but they meet legislators. And I think for small businesses, having that warm introduction to a legislator in the chamber environment is perfect, because then the introduction is made, the nervousness is not there, as opposed to going cold to their offices, and the intimidation factor is taken out of to an extent, is taken down a lever from the political aspect. So I think the political is just as important. As most small businesses, they're not equipped to really advocate on their issues, whereas you do and you are. I think that's a real critical element too as well.
In a former life, I was a congressional press secretary, and it really was brought home to me in that position how important business was and how important their input was in terms of directing legislation that impacts our economies and communities.
Well, and how many times, Rex, have we seen and this is not a political show, but how many times have we seen in the world where legislators implement regulations that impact a business sector, and they've never spoken with anybody in that sector, they've never been exposed to that sector, yet they feel they need to legislate and regulate. Case in point is farmers who have to have bathrooms and faucets every acre and 5,000 acres of corn. You see those regulations come, and that's why business is so critical, to communicate to the legislators what the realities of businesses are.
There needs to be some degree of regulation in almost any important industry that involves the public. At the same time, it can get excessive, and business who spends hours and hours and hours complying with federal regulations, translates into lost productivity. That's a loss of jobs and a loss of the positive benefits that businesses make to a community. I have friends in the banking industry, and the banking reform that took place a couple years ago has resulted in hundreds of new regulations. And I talked to a bank member just last week who said that legislation has resulted in the need for hundreds of new compliance officers. Mm-hmm. Now, they won't add anything to the economy. I don't think they make it any easier to get bank loans out there. In fact, from what I hear, that legislation is making it more difficult for people to get loans.
But those are counted as the government creating jobs.
And that's a myth, and that's a charade. Mm-hmm. In this instance, that's a good example of how regulation hurts the population, but it's presented as helping it. Yeah. And you're right, this isn't a political show, but I think most business people that sit up late at night filling out these frustrating forms would agree that that's not time well spent, and that their time and money would be better spent employing people and producing commerce that drives our economy.
Yeah. So what else? What else is going on at the chamber? So you've got networking, which is critical to business growth and development. What other elements of the program of work did you want to talk about?
Well, being a fellow occupant of US 29, I'm sure the people of your community would be interested that we continue to work with the General Assembly, DOT Secretary Connaughton, and Governor McDonnell on the US 29 bypass of Charlottesville. In absence of having an interstate highway, US 29 is the lifeline for our region, and it's the most important commercial thoroughfare that we have. As important as 460 is, 29 is even more important. And when it gets strangled in Charlottesville and people start diverting 29 to take other roads to get off of 29, it diminishes the importance and the economic impact that 29 has on our region, and that hurts us. Yeah. And Danville built its bypass, Culpeper built its bypass, Lynchburg built its bypass, and about 10-15 years ago, Charlottesville reneged on their promise to build a bypass. Fortunately, Senator Newman, our local legislative delegation, Sean Connaughton, the governor, and others have put this project out for bid. It's been accepted as a project. They still have some hurdles to go through, and I'm very interested in hearing what Governor McDonnell has to say on Monday afternoon about the 29 project. Now, in addition to 29, the governor will be talking about the Oddfellows extension, which is exciting from the standpoint, Lynchburg is built on 7 hills, and it really gives us a large footprint. Even so, there's not a lot of developable land within the city. Right. And opening up that Oddfellows area, the transportation infrastructure is within a stone's throw of the bypass. And when they create that linkage and the necessary on-ramp, off-ramps to US 29, that part of town has a tremendous opportunity for development.
I think it's exciting. I think it's really exciting. Well, what can we be doing or to support the Lynchburg area, regional Lynchburg area, and the Lynchburg Chamber of Commerce?
One of the blessings about working in this region is the willingness and anxiousness of community leaders to work together. Many of us serve on the Workforce Investment Board that deals with the training of employees for the region. A lot of our communities are interested in the transportation initiatives that we undertake, because they not only benefit Lynchburg, they benefit all of us. Right. And, we are fortunate. There are some obvious things that need to be done, and people in this region are willing to roll up their shirt sleeves and lean against it and get the job done. So I'm grateful for the support that we receive on a variety of different initiatives. I think it's time to consider a regional visioning process again, to where we compare the agendas of our entire region and communities and determine how best to move forward into the future.
Has that been done before?
It has been. With limited success. I think it may have been overly ambitious, and we haven't heard a lot about it. A civic center for Lynchburg was identified as a pressing concern, and it's interesting that Liberty is currently working on such a facility. Mm-hmm. And we have things, we're so well off in this region that the second priority was getting a drive-in movie theater.
Oh. Really? I was just in Tulsa for a Southern Economic Developers Conference, and they have this. We drove by it, and they have an amazing 2-screen, state-of-the-art, newly built drive-in theater. And I was like, really? But by the way, it was 500 degrees in Tulsa, and there's no way I'm sitting in my car to watch a movie at 200 degrees. But that's funny. Who produced that? How long ago was that study done? I think it's a great idea. I think a regional visioning process is critical.
It was called Regional Renaissance, and while I use a degree of levity in talking about it, and that actually was the second priority, but we can learn from that attempt to work together, and I think in constructing a process moving forward, it's a matter of getting the right people at the table and not trying to be overly democratic to where every single a need that's articulated are equal. You have to form priorities. There's an old Russian proverb that if you chase 2 rabbits, you won't catch either one. So we have to be clear in identifying key regional priorities that we can all work on and get behind. And oftentimes those are going to focus around infrastructure.
Yeah. Well, when you get ready to throw that idea back out there to update the regional plan, count us in as a partner for that. I think regional planning is critical and important. I think having a collective vision is important. And certainly, I've been a part of those things where everybody thinks every idea is critical, and some of that doesn't always work. Of course, the community I just left, they're getting roundabouts, and I know as they get those, they're all cursing me at this point. But Rex, I'm so glad that you came to Alta Vista this morning to be on the radio show at Your Business. It's been fun. It's fun to know you. It continues to be fun. So, Rex, before I let you go, we need to talk about Wing Fling. What is it? When is it? What is it? And when is it?
Wing Fling is scheduled for August 29 this year. It's going to be held in Windhurst. It's we've had this program. It evolved from Shrimp Festival, but it's a more affordable way for members and the public to have just a really great time, late afternoon, early evening. We'll have a fantastic band. Obviously, chicken wings are a centerpiece of it, but there's
chicken wings.
A lot of other food as well.
Different flavored chicken wings.
Absolutely. And we hopefully will have the nuclear wing eating contest again, and whether or not you want to participate in it, it's a lot of fun to watch.
It is terrible. It's painful to watch. We volunteered, Tori and I volunteered at it last year and had a great time. I don't know if we're volunteering yet this year, but we'll certainly be there. It's a great event, Wing Fling, and I know I made some great new connections. Of course, at that time I was brand new, so met some community and business leaders and saw people there doing business together. So it's a great event, and you make sure you congratulate your staff. They do a great job putting that event together.
They really do. They're a fantastic staff.
So Rex, for information about the Lynchburg Chamber of Commerce, why don't you tell our listeners how they can get a hold of you?
LynchburgChamber.org is our website, and our phone number is 434-845-5966. The website has extensive information on the Chamber and our current events. And, while we are a business organization, because of the other side of our personality in terms of creating regional prosperity, we get requests for information and participation from the public and surrounding communities on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. We really do try to represent the economic development climate of the entire region, and that's why we like working with Megan and Community of Alta Vista, and this region in pulling together and creating a better tomorrow for our people.
Rex, thanks so much for being on the show with me this morning. It was great to have you here.
Thank you.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in this morning and listening. You know, I've said this before. If your business is located in Alta Vista or you have a business interest in Alta Vista, you should be a member of the Alta Vista Chamber of Commerce. And the same goes for the Lynchburg Regional Chamber of Commerce. If your business is located in the regional area and you have a business interest in the regional area, then not only should you be a member of the chamber within your immediate community, but you should invest in the Lynchburg Chamber of Commerce as well because of what they do on a regional scale and how they work together with your local chambers of commerce. Chambers will impact your bottom line positively. I guarantee it. And if you don't know how to make that happen, Rex can explain it to you, and I certainly can explain how you can take advantage of your chamber memberships in any community on how to make it beneficial to your business. Thanks again for tuning in. There's a lot going on. Don't forget, this morning is the annual catfish tournament at English Park. There is a benefit for baby Claire at the high school this morning. The Chamber of Commerce on the 15th is having their Business Expo on August 23rd, and that's the Alta Vista Chambers having their Business Expo on the 15th. They're also having a golf tournament on the 23rd, and the Lynchburg Chamber is going to have a ribbon cutting for the Governor's STEM Academy on August 12th. And August 14th, they'll have business at breakfast. And then on the 14th, and then again on August 12th, the Lane Memorial United Methodist Church Blood Drive. And August 24th will be the Elm Assembly of God Spaghetti Dinner. Everybody, I'm Megan Lucas, the Economic Development Director for the community of Alta Vista. If you have comments, questions, or needs, don't hesitate to give me a buzz at 434-369-5001. Have a great weekend, everybody, and thanks for listening to It's Your Business.
Have you looked at your business banking fees lately? I'm Sean Stone with First National Bank, and we have the best business accounts which offer serious savings for your company. We have a full menu of business products from checking accounts and remote deposit capture to online banking. And we have a local merchant card representative who will customize services just for your business. So let First National Bank prepare an analysis of your current activity and show how we will reduce your banking fees. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
With so many changes in taxes, healthcare, more legislation, and bureaucracy,
you need someone in the media to keep you ahead of Big Brother and Big Government.
That's why Herman Cain is on your radio.
Big Government is not our friend.
Herman Cain still speaks for you and for America.
Our founding fathers did their job. We must be the defending fathers, because life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness will not mean a thing if we do not protect those ideals.
Herman Cain knows the inner workings of American business, the economy, government, politics, the Fed, and the IRS.
Real life experiences from business, politics, and life.
Now you'll hear him every day, coast to coast on your radio.
Listen to Herman Cain every weekday morning from 9 to noon on News Talk 1000.